A lot of boys are much closer to being stripped down to their race stuff. A lot more shorts and tank tops being seen rather than sweatpants and hooded sweatshirts. Camera gives you a good visual of the starting line here, and all the spectators here trying to watch. We're moments away from the start of the MITCA Team Michigan qualifier for the senior boys. As I said before, there was about 13 or 14 boys that have gone sub-16 this year. So I would say it's going to be a very competitive race for those top 12 spots. And the gun is off. Boys are out. Always seem to be taking off extremely fast. Jockeying for position. If you notice, you got a really wide start here, and it funnels down nicely. Nice and slow, actually. It's not a quick funnel down, but they make a little dog leg to the left. The runner's trying to get in their inside position for a good tangent on the course. So the 2017 MITCA Team Michigan qualifier for the senior boys is underway. I would suspect that given the nice footing and the course in good conditions, that we'll see some decent times today. I know just standing around here the temperatures aren't great, but normally the colder temperatures don't affect distance runners quite as bad as sprinters or spectators. So they're a little bit over a quarter mile in, and they'll come down this straightaway following the lead vehicle. And at the end of this straightaway again is the 800-meter mark. There's a all right, the lead group coming up. We got one guy kind of breaking away from the pack, and he goes through the first 800 meters here in 2:27. So he's at 4:54 pace through the first 800 now. If you remember back just a few minutes ago in the girls' seniors race, the girl who led through the first 800 held on and took third, but it was that next couple girls that reeled her in. So let's see if we have a repeat in this race where the leader at 800 isn't the leader at the end, but he definitely looks like he's trying to pull a gap on that group, because after him, there's not much separation between second and probably 18th. So a big group working together to try to run a decent time. Now, some of those kids, I'm guessing, maybe they don't have a shot to win, but they're trying to work in there just to get in that top 12. So some smart racing going in there. I haven't been out on the course, so I'm not sure which spots of the course you're going into the wind or with the wind. But they're running right now out along the bike path, and so they run only about 200 meters out there or so, and they'll turn back to where they see spectators again in a long straightaway that leads to the mile mark. Our lead boy is definitely stretched out another 10-15 meters on the pack. But then that pack has about 10 to 12 deep on guys trying to stay close. Our senior boys here at the MITCA Team Michigan qualifier are approaching the mile mark. And just like the senior girls race, the boy who, this time the leader at the 800 mark, has lost the ground. And when he hits the mile, he's going to be probably in second or third. So, he just put a surge back in. So he's going to go through the mile in 4:57. So pretty even half-mile splits through the first mile for the leader. He was on 4:54 pace and then went through at 4:57. So pretty even splits there for their half mile, but it's that second group that really started to move in the second half mile of the race. You can see the crowd scattering to try to get to that next spot, which is right about the 1.5 mile mark. It's still a large group of guys in contention for the top 12. The top 12 senior boys get to do a pretty cool experience and join up with 12 of the other fastest kids in the state and go to Kettering, Ohio next weekend and race against a few other states in the area. I would suspect that they're going to come out, hit the 1.5 miles right around, let's see here, right around 7 minutes and 30 seconds, maybe 7:40, somewhere in that range. Today it's not an issue today, but I know the parts that they're getting ready to go through, the few spots you can get to go through the trees here on this course are nice because it gives you some shade. Shade is not needed today. It's like 28 degrees out here, and the sun is behind the clouds. But these boys trying to stay as close to the lead vehicle as possible, it looks like. We do have a new leader as they are approaching the 1.5 miles. And in fact, our early leader is working hard, it looks like, to stay in third, but the group has reeled him in, kind of consuming him. So we'll try to do the same thing we did during the girls' race at about the 2 mile mark, 2 1/4. We'll try to give you a countdown on where that 12th place is. So it looks like we have 2 guys kind of out with about a 20-meter lead, and then there's a group of 7, maybe 8 guys reeling them in. So it's still the top 8 to 10 are very close. And then there's a gap where there's about 5 runners. So in that 5 will be that last qualifying spot. So it's still a lot to be decided in this last mile and a half, mile and a quarter. Right. Yeah. Okay. So they kind of disappeared out of our view. They went into one of the last sets of probably the second to last set of woods that they go through. Here you can kind of see through a lot of the woods because the leaves have fallen and stuff. But when the leaves are out and everything's grown over, those little patches of woods give a nice amount of shade. Looks like the boys are coming up on the 2-mile mark here. They're going to make a left-handed curve. They're out at about the farthest place away from the starting line area and where we're commentating from. But they're going to make a left-handed turn and go through the 2-mile mark. Yep. They're going to hit the leader, goes through in just under 10, so 9:58-ish for the 2-mile for the leader. So they've kept that sub 5-minute pace going so far. They get a nice long straightaway to run down this back stretch. This is where I was talking about earlier, where mentally it can be tough. You're running closer in the direction that you need to go, and then they're going to make you take a sharp left-hand turn and head back away. Actually, a couple different turns away from the finish line. So mentally, you got to be ready to go. But these athletes have trained a long time, and they're used to it. Right now, they're still doing pretty good out there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 boys kind of strung out in the lead pack. I mean, there's 3 guys that are clearly out in the lead, but there's 10. So that means that next group that's going to make this sharp left-hand turn, there's 3, maybe 5, you would say, close enough to make something happen. Only 2 of those 5 are going to make it on because the top 12 advance. So for the top 15 runners or so, they've got less than a mile to go here at the MITCA Team Michigan qualifier. Top 12 boys make it, and they compete at the Mid-East Meet of Champions next Saturday in Kettering, Ohio. The lead boys have not popped out of the last wood section yet. But when they do, it's right around 800 meters to go. Now, unofficially, we're sitting at 12 minutes, almost 13 minutes, and I would say most of these guys are going to finish in the low 15s, maybe. I can see the lead vehicle going into the patch of woods with the top 2 runners pretty close to it. So they're going to come out and got about 800 meters to go. So if they are able to keep that 2:30 pace, they're going to on sub 15, but I'm guessing that's not happening today. I can't tell exactly who is who, but it does look like Al-Jabali from Coldwater is in the top 3, maybe 3rd from this view. Otherwise, I can't quite tell. Maybe I can get a view here at the finish line. Yeah. As they're coming down, they're making their last turn and coming down the finish stretch. We'll try to get a bib number. There goes the lead vehicle, and here comes the lead runners. It's Schwabe in the lead, and Drew Wegner maybe in second. Very close race. And so the winner is going to run 15:13 and then 15:14. Top 3 are in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, the black tank top with the white headband. So we need 2 more coming across the finish here. We got our top 10, and there's 2 spots open. Here comes one in a white tank top with a gray undershirt. A tight finish there for 11th and 12th. So there's our 12th and 13th. So these guys, unfortunately, they're coming in now. They're going to just miss finishing in the top 12, but maybe they ran a pretty good time compared to their PRs and stuff, and so that kind of stuff is important. So unofficially, our winning times, our Coldwater State champ Schwabe took first in a time of 15:13. He really helped Drew Wenger from Lakeland. His PR was 15:27. He went 15:14, 15:15 area there, so that's a pretty good run for him. As long as our times here are accurate, that would be a PR for him. Still have some runners coming in. Our next race is the Futures race, and we combine girls and boys in that race. It's supposed to start at 3 o'clock, but we've been a couple minutes. They've been a couple minutes off on each, so nothing terrible. I don't know if it's safe to assume that a lot of the guys finishing right now are our day of registration, because most of the people that were pre-registered had PRs of times faster than that. I mean, I guess they could have had an off day, but I think we had quite a few day of registrations for the boys race. Number of boys at the starting line was quite a bit larger than the number of boys or girls in the senior race. So one more race coming up here in Shepherd, Michigan. Pretty chilly day here. About 28 degrees outside. Not a lot of wind in spots, so that's helpful. So 2 races almost complete here at the MITCA Team Michigan Qualifier. Our first race of the day took off at 2 o'clock, and that was the senior girls. And our second race,